Hello, hello. Blart here with Vestiges of Passing Glory, the Faris Raid Shinryu fight. We're bringing a team of Faris, Galuf, and Lena. Before we get too deep into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, ring that notification bell, and say hello to baby Blart, who's keeping me company this run. So, this is a fight. We got Faris here. This is her fight. I don't think it does a great job of showcasing her, if I'm being perfectly honest. Sure, it really does a great job of showcasing her new trap mechanic. It's a great trap, I love it. But as you'll see, some of the other components of Faris as a character kind of get a little bit punished in this fight. You'll notice also that we got the elemental lockouts, which we've been hearing so much about debuting here. Something I didn't realize, for this fight at least, is that non-elemental damage is also locked out, which is kind of funny, since Faris isn't normally an enchanter. I almost feel like Cryo would be a better pick for this fight on this team, just for that reason alone. Although, as you can also see, it doesn't really matter because, like, Galuf and Lena are going to be capping either way no matter what, thanks to all of their Brave gains. The fight doesn't seem to neuter Brave gains that hard, which is kind of weird since Faris is a Brave damage-focused character. I guess it wanted to show off her off-turn battery without encouragement armor. So there you have it. You can, in the background of this fight, you can kind of start to see the issue that I'm going to be presented with. Namely, the debuffs on the boss and the buffs. I know, baby Blart, it's concerning stuff. The reason it is concerning is, as you know, Faris's FR is based on the number of debuffs on the enemy. And unfortunately, the enemy is going to continue putting framed buffs on themselves. And Faris only brings 5 debuffs, thankfully. If it was more, it'd be insane. But in order to get rid of those buffs, you need to use Faris' skill 2 to dispel, or I guess her FR. However, if you do that, the enemy then will warp, as you can see, or post 40%. They warp the turn every turn, which is fun. And this means that they'll warp and buff themselves before you have a chance to apply any additional debuffs beyond the ones that Faris brings. I brought 2 sets of calls to fill out our debuff slots, Laguna and Titus, and I will not have a chance to use either of them because the bosses will continually buff themselves past the point that I'd be able to, max out their debuffs. So that's kind of frustrating. It actually really shows off it showcases Faris' poor speed and how it's a detriment in her role as a dispeller. So, good job, devs. That said, the bosses themselves are not that dangerous. The only force mechanic they have really is, or I guess force bar mechanic we should call it, is that warp at 40%. You'll see they only have the one little tick mark. Their actual force attack, they warp the turns even more, I think, and they get an upgraded attack that isn't that much scarier than what they're already doing. So, because we want them to continue turn warping, so that we can take advantage of our counter units, we're not actually going to let them get their force attack off, even though Faris could cancel it, because if we cancel it, then it's gone, and they're back to not warping, and we can't have that, can we? It's just a whole, I don't know, it's weird, because, like, the fight's presenting us with some problems. I know. The fight is presenting us with some problems here. You know, the enemy, they're turn warping, they're buffing, they have this recast that deals some damage. Faris and Galuf, of course, keep us safe from that. Overall, just, I don't know. It's kind of funny this event is called Vestiges of Passing Glory when I don't think Faris has ever actually had glory in this game, and this, even in the fight designed to showcase her, it's highlighting her weaknesses as much as it's highlighting her strengths, which is kind of dumb. It's alright, though. She does a great job in this fight just with the off-turn FR damage alone. Although, once again, between that and the non-elemental lockout, I feel like Cryo would actually be the better Final Fantasy V FR to bring here, which is nice, fun, good design, clever. Anyway, here we are, Faris FR. Look at this, boom, great animation. I love that. That's actually really cool. Given that we have 2 blitzball kick, like 2 eject shot animations already, not bad. That's a fun animation. Blitzball, yeah. But anywho, now that we're going ahead and countering and off-turn damaging, and they're still turn warping, that's kind of the fight, being honest. Like, there isn't much more for me to talk about than what you've seen already. You know, the enemy's turn warp, then Faris hits him with that counter. You know, it might have been. You know what would have been cool? I'm realizing now, if her trap dispelled, like Beatrix, because then that would completely fix the speed issue. Yeah, no, okay, that's it. Yeah, if they had just made her trap dispel when triggered there, that would completely fix the character in my mind. And I'm kind of annoyed that they didn't think to do that. Faris is one of those characters where, like, they don't seem to care. There's some characters where just the devs don't seem to care. They'll give them a tuning pass every so often because, you know, that's how the game works. And like, okay, here's an update, here's some stuff, but it always feels a step behind what the other stuff you could be doing. It's kind of frustrating as a Faris fan. I mean, you know, Baby Blart's reminding me that, well, it's frustrating as a Faris fan. It's better. It could be worse. I could be a Final Fantasy XIV fan and be dealing with that kind of copium. Sorry, Alfie. No, nothing personal, dude. For Tactics. Well, no, Tactics has good characters, at least. They only have 2 of them, but they're really good, so. Although I will say, it's funny that Agrius is featured in this fight as a C90 unit, because kind of similar case, you know, they buff themselves to make it harder to fit the paralyzes on, including her unframed paralyze from skill 2. And not all of their attacks are magic, so silence won't always work. And they turn warp every turn, so Agrius literally will not be able to keep them locked down the whole fight, despite otherwise being capable of doing so. So, just, devs are goofy. Devs are goofy is what I'm going to say. In the meantime, we're just, like, countering the heck out of them, you know, getting 10 to 15% FR bonus every time the enemy acts, which is great, because they act every time we act. And we're actually getting less than the maximum FR bonus on our turns because of the whole debuff/buff clutter thing I was talking about earlier this fight. Oh yes, at 50%, as you can see, they do the warp and stack turns thing, where they warp and then take 2 instant turns after. This just means more opportunities for counters and FRs, so no complaints here. That's fine. You do you. You know, I think I could have circumvented this whole issue with the debuff slots if I had summoned before going to FR to, you know, give Faris time to dispel, reapply her LD debuff, and then use the calls. Greedy me, of course, I wanted to use the Brothers Big Nuke because that's the thing you do now. So that's kind of how we got to this point. Although, being honest, I realized that's unnecessary. We're halfway through our force time now, and we've chewed through about 60+% of their health. I think nearly going on 70% of their health. And that ain't changing anything. Like this is good. Just I don't know. This fight was a little bit. It kind of played itself. So, like, is this what it feels like to play Eateroff? Because, like, it's kind of relaxing and chill, but it also is like this isn't the game I intended to play. I don't know. I was hoping for a little more decision making. I guess with Faris, I had to decide whether to press her EX skill 2 or LD. So that's something, right? Dumb. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish this whole business off with one last off-turn counter. Here we go. Warp. Shoot, and gallop. Alright, well, there we have it. That was a funny little dance anime. Go back and watch what Gallop did at the end there. That was a doofy little dance. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Baby Blart appreciates it too. She's crawling around the floor right now. Very cute. I will see you in the next video, and stay cool. Adios.